welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About Death. My name's Chris, for those that don't know, and I'm joined by two very special people. We have Annie and Jess. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. So, first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone that has been listening to our podcast. I know there's a lot of you out there that are really itching for more and more, so we're trying to do our best and get it out there. Today's topic is on what? Dun, da, da, da.
We're talking about spirituality.
Right. So what do you mean by that?
Well, in the past, we've covered spirituality in terms of afterlife and, where do we believe that we go and that sort of stuff. But today we are going to talk about spirituality in our day-to-day lives, in our work lives, and how we let our spirituality guide us through the day. Is that your spiritual cricket?
I'm just tuning into my cricket. Yeah. And
Yep. I think you need to name the cricket.
Yeah, that's Jiminy. Jiminy the cricket.
Did you just say Jiminy?
Jiminy.
It's
Jimmy.
Jiminy.
Jiminy. Yeah.
Not this one.
Yeah.
This one is
Jiminy cricket.
For though everyone knows that I speak Brembonese, so there's nothing abnormal about Jiminy. And just to bring that up, I don't even know if I could pronounce it, but over in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. So talking about my own spiritual journey every day, this is the stuff I've got to put up with every day, is not being able to speak properly. So my Abu Dhabi and yabba dabba doo.
I thought he was going to say us. We are the things he has to put up with every day.
Yeah.
I thought that's where we were going to.
Yeah,
but
no, because I can't
nice
speak.
diversion. Very
I
good.
can't. You like that? I got out of there real quick. Yeah. So, anyone want to start with your journeys?
It actually sounded like you were starting, so.
No, you were.
you'd like to
You were.
continue.
I'm quite happy for you to start.
Okay, sure thing. I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start them. I think that. Thank you. That was really
That's all
special.
right.
I wish that played every time I walked in a room, to be honest.
Mm.
Plays in my head.
Oh, sorry. It's that snitty roll I had for lunch. Yeah.
I think that I was always a fairly spiritual person.
That's just a pen. Just playing with that.
I was always a fairly spiritual person, but I think that when I started working here and it was really nurtured, that's when I was able to.
So do you mean that you were quite churchy back then?
Oh, way back in the day,
yeah.
Like as a young child, I
Right.
was incredibly religious.
Yeah.
And
so was your whole family back then? Yeah.
yeah, but I
Pretty
didn't realize that my family was religious until probably 6 months ago, to be honest. I thought I just went to a Lutheran school because it was a good school. But no, it's because my family were church heads.
Ah.
So,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So you
but
were saying that since you come on here that your journey has changed.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I think that I've now been surrounded by people who are also spiritual, and I think that that's been able to.
Were you aware of that, Jess? That you were spiritual as well?
I wasn't talking about Jess. I was talking about you.
Why is Jess here then
Like,
if
Jess
she's
is
not going to
very
be able to
spiritual.
talk? Yeah, why? It just, yeah.
I'm normally
What was that?
filled.
You went-
I don't even know. That was a weird noise. I feel like we're going to hear that back and it's going to sound like I've just had a stroke on our podcast.
84 years.
There won't be any stretch removal from up here.
no.
I'm just going to be pushed out of the window onto the.
We will have Fireman Sam that will come to the window and help us
Don't
down.
you just love how every podcast starts off with a really great direction and then it just heads into 17 side conversations?
That's okay. That's
with-
what people want to hear.
It's
They want to
so
hear a little
good.
bit of what we're talking about,
It's
and the
so
rest
good.
is just a bit of fun. Yeah.
Spirituality. That's a big word. Say that a couple of times really quickly.
Don't get me to say it. Abba-dabba-doo. Yeah.
Look, I'm very much along the same lines as Annie. I never grew up in a family that was religious in any sense, or spiritual for that matter. So it's something that I guess my eyes have been open to that working in this industry.
What was that?
Annie just totally did the best internal burp then.
That bubbled up and then back down my throat.
Wow, yeah. Wow. I am so sorry to all of those listeners that really want to get something out of this podcast, and we're talking about something fairly beautiful, and that is the spiritual realm of what we do. And
I feel like that was the spirit bubbling up from Annie's lunch.
That's the demonic coming out.
Oh man.
I would say for me that if I looked back at my 23 years in the industry, probably the first couple of years I just took whatever came my way, and I went, yeah, that's just part of it. I didn't probably really think too much into how things happen and why it happens that way. I don't know. It's just I felt as though that if I spoke up, then people would think that I was loopy, like a little bit more than what
I was
going to
say
now.
we already do.
Yeah. But see, I've matured in. See, I'm qualified as a looper now.
Yeah.
So
You've
and
got the
that's not even
lubrifications.
lubrification. So yeah, but now seeing it and feeling it, and it just brings a whole different level to it. You know, like even today. I mean, you've been in and out of the mortuary a few times.
Yep.
No lights.
Oh no, I actually did have. I had the single light on the clothing wall. I had that go on when I went to put some stuff in the washing machine.
Yeah.
But it was on for not very long at all. And then I went in to put those towels from up here in there, and it came on again. But they were only on for probably the allocated time.
So I think, you know, I guess it's probably enriched my life more now than, or you appreciate life a hell of a lot more because we see it, people dying too early or tragically, or, you know, and then you got babies and kids and all sorts of things happening. So it makes you really look at your life a little bit more than what it did the day before. And what I'm trying to do is, if only you just saw what Annie was doing, she was blowing into the wall. I'm not quite sure. It's not huff and puff. I'm going to blow the wall down. It's like,
I'll be honest. I was burping.
Ah, classy
over there.
Yes.
I didn't want it to be captured again.
So yeah, the spiritual side for me is certainly part of my journey, and not everyone gets it because we're always taught that. And I don't like using the word ghost, but you know, ghosts aren't real, and you know what you're hearing is just like normal noise. It's not, or it's just an interference with the radio. That's what you're hearing is just the DJ. Well, yeah, the DJ's speaking, but it's speaking via the souls communicating to that to make the words come together. So, so that's how it sort of evolved for me, I guess. I'm not a religious person. Maybe in the early days it probably was a bit. I'm not saying that there's not a God. I'm not saying that there's not, for whatever culture that you belong to, that there isn't your, what do you call them?
Religious icon.
Yeah, icons, I'm not saying that. I just believe that we're in a big space and everyone can be a part of that. And there's no racism. There's no nothing really. It's just energy, space probably is the biggest thing. Yeah. So, go on.
I heard something really beautiful and something that has really resonated with me last week, and was a family that their dad, their husband was with us. I wasn't the arranger on the funeral, so I didn't have a great deal to do with this family, but there was something that I was so drawn to them. There was something really beautiful about them. And I got talking with one of the daughters, and Chris, you were there having this conversation. And she was telling us about her dad. His daily routine was to meditate. He was a very spiritual person, very musical, very, very, very grounded. Yeah. And she said, and it's just going to ring in my ears for the rest of my life, he was the kind of person that didn't need to tell you that he loved you. Mm-hmm. The words "I love you" it didn't come out easily. But his energy, you always knew. You always knew that he loved you.
That's probably how I work. I'm not one for "I love you."
Yeah.
Because "I love you" has had so many different meanings. It doesn't mean that it's not, that I don't, but I'll show it,
rather than verbalize it. Yeah. That really hit home for me. Probably more so on a spiritual level because, this man has lived his life by the principle of showing people his love and his kindness and his funeral and things like that were obviously a product of that. But I don't know, they're just words I think that are going to stick with me for some time.
Till next week.
Well, yeah, probably next week when, someone else says something clever.
There'll be other words that we can use.
Lots of words.
But that's true. And I mean, even for that gentleman's service was, I guess, a non-traditional type service. It was about his last gig. And it was showing people how much that he had or respect and how proud he was of his family and like for me, for him to have meditated for that length of time has then brought him up a notch. So then he's able to communicate better because he's already had that connection. And that's hard to explain that until you've done it. But
and he communicated.
Oh yeah, he was well and truly probably one of the strongest we've felt.
Since I've been here, I've not seen that much activity in the mortuary as we did when he was here.
No. So, I mean, that's great for us because we get to feel that and see that and investigate that because that's something we haven't done a lot of recently. But I don't know. You want to hear their story a little bit more. You want to hear it from them rather than just their family. And even if it's just single words or, that you are lost or that you are sad that you've gone, I don't know, you've got to have some form of belief towards something because I would have said on podcasts before is, what's our purpose then? What are we here for? Like, if I knew when I first came to Earth, whatever, born, that, you'd be working all your life, you'd go, nah, can I just go somewhere else? Like, but there's got to be something.
Yeah. Even just discussing that same gentleman, you're saying that his spiritual level, like with how he lived his life here on Earth, has almost set him up for the afterlife. Like he's so open and able to communicate. I think probably for quite some time, he was one person, and I agree with Annie that you could sense that he was content.
Yeah.
I think there was even one point after he was dressed and ready for his viewing, I went into the mortuary and he looked like he had just the most content little smile on his face, and it made you feel...
Because at the start of preparation,
so
he looked in pain, and I think even Annie said he looked in pain, or someone said that he looked in pain. And, like, because he had an aneurysm in his brain, so that would have been very quick. But once we washed and dressed him and did that, he just came... And I think, and that happens a lot. Like we do get that, and I guess that's why I get a bit of a kick out of doing prep is for that. Whereas if you see them and they got that grumpy look on their face, hopefully we can change that too. We can make them smile if we have to. But other than that, it's contentment.
Yeah, Elaborating on what Jess said, and you actually said to us after he
I never
was...
get that. I never get, well, just as what Chris was saying. No, I never get that. Don't worry about it. Yep. Yep, don't worry about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Jess said to us, Christopher, you and me,
Yeah.
that he made you feel calm.
He did.
And I think that that is something that was quite foreign to me when I first started. Like we've all had our own journeys and everything like that, but I'd never...
Please go in further, deeper.
I was just going to say that the concept of someone who was not living making you feel a certain way didn't really fall on, like, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
didn't
because
really...
when if you don't come into Bremba to start off with, for example, or any other ones that are into, I don't know who else is probably as full on as what we are, but it's not something that you get trained in. Like, it's just it's your job. Just pick them up, deliver them, do this, do that. You know, there's no connection.
Yeah.
And I think connection is a big thing because that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we see them from start to finish. And if we're not a part of the finish, we're still being part of the start.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes us different to others. And, you know, any time that I have employed people or interviewed them, I just got to let you know, are you into this? Because if you're not, then this may not be the right place for you. Because, you know, we've had some that have been sort of into it, but not really. And it's like what we do in there, it was like it was acted, like we've just set it up. So I'm not going to waste my time in faking it, you know. And if you don't want to know how I feel with the whole field, then I won't tell you. Like, I'm only sharing it because people want to know it. If you don't, then I'm happy not to share it. But yeah, it's I think I'm just trying to think when I first got the idea of that there was something a little bit different, and I think it was during my time when I was in that 100-year-old building in Camberwell.
And just quickly, do you mean different with you or different with different with what we perceive the world as?
It was just like I just felt different to everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I've always said that I feel it's like I've come from a totally different planet because sometimes I don't gel with how some people think, or if I talk about the spiritual side, people go, oh, yeah, whatever. That's why you'll always hear me saying, you may think I'm being an idiot here, or I'm not getting a big head, or, you know, but because people have always said, you know, if you say you do Reiki, they go, oh, right, not a qualification. Well, it is, but it's not one that you can go and get it on extras.
Yeah.
It's just, because it's, you know, hand healing. But I know it works. People that have had Reiki and all the other stuff that we've done, it works. Like, I'm not faking this shit. I don't know. But on the funeral side, I just knew there was people around that weren't visible. You know, I guess and voices like children. And in this building, and I think we said about this on another episode, but of like they used to lock kids down in this. It was like a dungeon, right? And kids crying and screaming and laughing and playing and all of that type of stuff, and it really threw me. And I mean, even every day when I walk in to work here, like if it's just me by myself, I'll hear voices and music. Like there's no one else around, especially the early mornings that I've done more recently, and there's nothing. I'm thinking, oh, Google's still on. Nope, Google's not on. And I'm thinking, holy crap, where's this coming from? Like, and I was concentrating the other night because I'm trying to tap in a little bit more into auras and reading people's auras, and it's not scared me, but wow, when I really tapped into it and I started seeing the beams that like a rainbow sitting over the top of someone's head, that blew me away because I'm thinking, oh no, my eyes are playing up, like.
Do you get a dead set migraine when you try and look at my aura?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I don't look at it.
Just don't at the moment. I feel like that is
It's
you're
just
gonna
that
need some
dark
Panadol and a
black
lay
beam
down.
that goes hanging around your head.
My aura is out of order at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. But I mean, auras and like that's meant to be really good. I can feel like if I do Reiki, I can feel the rise in energy off the body, and that is the aura field.
Yeah.
And like I can concentrate on. I'm just trying to think. It may have been on you that time where I saw an image, probably for one of the very first times.
Yeah.
An image on her head, like on a forehead, of this. If do you mind me sharing this little bit?
Please share.
And I thought I was going bananas, but when I do it, I go into like a trance. It's like I'm there, but I'm not.
I also went into a trance.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, into a trance, and it's like at the end, it's like, oh, did you feel this? No, I had a nice sleep, nice nap.
No, here's the thing, and we discussed it. I think that it was weird, and it was very unlike anything. For those listening, this was my first time.
Or first time on a massage table falling asleep.
No. Every time I used to get my lashes done, I was
there
dead
you
to the
go.
world. But this was the first time I think that I was in such a meditative state that my body was asleep, but my mind was awake, and I could hear myself snoring.
Yeah.
But I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that
But
was
this
weird.
image, because the head or the crown chakra is probably, that's got to be right before the rest of your body learns it. Like, there's no point in me going to your feet and going, all right, I'll get to your crown chakra at the end, because it doesn't. But I saw this image, I think it was purple, this purpley reddy sort of thing of like a young girl bringing her knees up to her chest and rocking like in the fetal position, but in that seated position to and from. And I had closed my eyes to open my eyes, and it was still there. This image was still there. And then it went away. And I went, okay. That rather than just a color, it was a symbol, like a picture. And I'm starting to see more and more like that thing we were talking about this morning, these visuals. And that's what I want to tap more into. Yeah. So then what I do down there out the back is hopefully we can get more captures. But then after the session, we spoke about it, and it was something that used to calm you down, was being in that position. Yeah. Now, how would I have known that?
There was also...
it's not common.
You very accurately pinpointed the age that little girl was.
Yeah.
And it was an age where something fairly traumatic happened in my life. Yeah. And you bloody nailed it. Like, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. And I guess that's where, because when I started doing the Reiki, I had wanted to do Reiki, or the spiritual Reiki anyway, for a long, long time, right? And I just went, I'll get there. And then during, obviously, like before COVID and all that, I thought, I'll give it a go. I'm not a reader. I don't, like, I'll read whatever I have to read, but I couldn't sit down and go, I'm just going to read a book. Like, it's got to capture me.
Yeah.
But those Reiki books, the study of Reiki, the study of meditation, all of that type of stuff, it was just like, I finish a book, like, and Emma would go, you what? Oh, you've missed the pages. And I went, no, here, take it and ask me some questions from it. Because that's what I would often do, because Emma's a fast reader, one of those speed readers. And then I go, oh, yeah, what's on page 20? Oh, that was when Darren met Sally, and, you go, oh, okay. Right.
When Darren met
Sheila. Now we're down at the pub having a palmer. But I guess that's where I've now started to see. So over the years, at 20-something years, I knew there was something there, like I said, right? but I think I was a little bit scared to open up to that. And then, you know, going to tarot readers and things like that, and things sort of, I could pretty much picture what it was going to be before that person even told me. And the person that probably told me the most was Pat, our psychic medium. And she, even the other night, she just out of the blue, she said, I know you've been thinking of me, and this is the answer to your question.
Wow.
And it was frigging spot on.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
Not to worry. If it gets slow, not to worry. The universe has you. Don't worry, you know. And that's, you know, that, how does that happen? Like, you don't go to a tarot card reader and then they just keep in touch with you. It doesn't work like that, you know. So I'm trying to research more and more about my journey and how that can do it. I am a little bit nervous about when I start seeing stuff, but that's because it's new.
Yep.
But once, because it's like you see it and you go, oh, what's that? And then your mind goes, ooh, turn it off.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, no, start it again, start, and go, and you go, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So, no, keep it up.
That's like your phone reception when you and Pat try to have a conversation.
Yeah, cuts off. It's crazy. The universe doesn't want us talking. But no, I'm much more, I'm enriched by that. I think that's where I am. And I'm glad that you girls are the same with what we do and seeing that. I think that's a positive step, because it is that transitional point, and you can't tell me that they're still not here. Like,
I think that that's part of the reason why what we do here is so special.
Yeah.
Like it is really so special. It's a lot more caring, and it's a lot more
geez, that didn't work that.
I was just going to say it's a lot more
Go
caring
in hard, don't
than
go in soft.
what I've experienced recently than what I've
What are you
experienced
saying?
previously.
Recently?
Yeah, like last week. No, what I've experienced previously
I didn't do it.
in previous workplaces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that the fact that you've built, your practices around that is
Yeah,
why
it's
what we do
not.
is so
I've
special.
always said it's not a job. It's a calling for everyone, but you get a golden opportunity to make it work, and you got to make it work, because there's probably other people out there that really want to do it, but don't get the opportunity, because once you're in it, you don't want to leave it. But unfortunately, this whole spiritual thing, you know, there's probably heaps of people out there that have abilities, but that aren't allowed to share, because they're going to go, oh, you're a Fruit Loop, you're talking to people. Like, it's like, rather than embracing that and going, well, it's okay. If you got a feeling, well, you know, especially if you got someone that sort of knows it, I don't know. I'm learning every day with it. So, you know, like I said, I'm not perfect with it. I just hope it continues. But unfortunately, we've got to wait until someone passes before we get that opportunity with some of these people. But then we're blessed to have people that we have known, and then they start communicating. You know, it's just being open to it, that's all. And your body is the first to shut it down, because it's, oh, this is foreign. Like, whoa, you know. So, yeah. But, yeah, things happen for a reason because of energy. It's, you know, like we were talking ages ago about, or even today about, you know, Jess's boss that passed, and, you know, him still being around, and that feeling of that, you know what I mean?
Not
just,
my current
no,
boss.
I mean, yeah, dog. Sorry, not his boss, because I'm still around.
No. Chris is still here.
Yeah. See, once again, I can't even get the friggin' words out.
Yeah, I'm all about knocking bosses off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
we were.
Animals and people that have gone, and I don't know. It's just
I think we've spoken about this on podcast previously, and we were talking about him today. So I had a beautiful dog called Boss, and he was
a Chihuahua.
my tiny little dog.
He was friggin' massive as a Mastiff.
He is
you like that?
big
massive
fella.
as Mastiff.
Massive Mastiff.
Yeah.
And dinner time, like, my God, that dog, he knew the minute it hit, 6 o'clock, it was dinner time. And we bought a fridge, floor stock, during COVID, needed a new fridge. The fridge light never worked.
Yeah.
Never. Anyway, from the day that Boss passed away, that fridge light comes on every time I open the fridge to feed our other dogs.
Yeah.
And we joke about it every day. It's like he's there ready for dinner.
I want something to eat.
Yeah. I can't afford to feed 3 of them. Like, that's
far out.
2's enough now.
Does the light work at any other point during the day?
Very rarely. Unless there's someone's going to maybe get some cheese out of the fridge. But that would be because Boss and Shelby would be sitting at the fridge like, slice of cheese. Yeah. So, no, it's very, very, it's always fixated around those times.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. And he always had his part of the couch. That was his spot. And neither Shelby or Silas now, so we have a beautiful new dog.
He's a Pomeranian.
Yeah. We're all about the little dogs. We like little dogs at my place. But neither of them will ever sit in that spot. It's like they sit either side of it. They will never, ever sit in that.
Just to get a picture of what Silas looks like is Turner and Hooch. If you look at Hooch, that's exactly what he looks like.
Yep.
That red hair.
Yep.
Yep.
My big ranger Hooch.
And then you've got Shelby, which is, she's just gorgeous too. Always remember that day that she barked and I nearly jumped through the friggin' roof. You just think there's no way that dog can, do that. But wow, my heart was in my throat.
Chris was, just to give a bit of context, Chris was patting Shelby and then he stopped patting her and she's a bit needy and got quite vocal and barked at him.
I thought she was going to come and eat me.
No, she just wanted more pats and then you got the paw taps after that.
It was a bang. Nah.
Yeah.
So I think, animals and human and it's such a journey, and I think everyone should embrace that. You've probably all had your own experiences with things happening, smelling things, tasting things, feeling like someone's watching you, the white light, the whole everything. That I reckon you've all had it, but you're probably going, don't worry about it. But it's real.
I think people are
He just took the microphone.
I totally just
and he's about to
pitched it.
cry.
Well, we really should have our own microphones.
Microphone. Oh,
Microphone.
Okay, I did get
I'd like a microphone. Thank you.
I did get a microphone, but it didn't. It didn't come with a cabalao. It did not come with a cabalao, and it has been ordered from Amazona, right? And should arrive here on the Saturday. Okay.
Before the microphone was yanked from my face, I was going to... it was very painful.
Yeah.
It was painful in my heart. I was going to circle back because...
Wow.
My grandma had this big, huge Harlequin Great Dane named Apache, and he was just beautiful. And my grandma is someone who has always been very spiritual. She's had, her family members follow her from house to house to house, and cats play with random things and blah, blah, blah. When we moved to Cairns, she bought this house, and it had a pink room and a blue room, and the pink room was the spare room, and the blue room was Apache's room because that's where he always slept. And he would go to the bathroom across from the blue room and pull the towels off the rack so that he could have a nap on them. Wow. So about a month after Apache passed away, my grandma decided that she was going to make the blue room another spare room, and she bought like a new bed and a new mattress to put in there. And before she had even taken the plastic off the mattress, she walked in one day and there were 4 distinctive like paw print spots on the mattress. Big. Her other dog was this tiny little poodle, so these are big Great Dane paws. And she walked into the bathroom and he'd pulled the
all
towels
the towels down.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't tell me that that's fake.
Awesome.
What's the probability? The other thing I was saying the other day, oh, actually, Annie and I think we were in the hearse, and we were talking about, I don't know, Native Americans or something. Like, what would be your Native American name? Did you ever work out what your Native American Indian name would be? And I think this comes down on the spiritual level too.
I don't think that I
White cloud.
I don't think that I ever did think about what
Why not?
mine would be.
Because
then we went to a funeral and I got in my funeral mode and I was
Right.
busy.
Yeah.
But no, I don't
So there you
remember.
go. What have you got anything that you'd like to share with that, or not really?
No.
That will be for another episode.
My brain
of,
just went white.
white,
There was nothing going
white
on
brain,
in
white brain.
There you go.
Mm,
Beautiful.
yeah,
That actually sounds awfully
white brain.
racist.
Yeah, it does. And we this isn't a racist podcast by any means. Yeah. Would you know what you would call yourself?
Yeah, I've got no idea.
No.
No idea. I'll think on it though.
Yeah. Yeah.
think on it.
We'll come back to that.
Next episode, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you kind of say like, what's your old street address and like what's the name of your old
Oh
street?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Your
the first letter
dog's
of that.
name
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Take the
Yeah.
Your password and secret questions. Cherie was here the other day, and
Yeah.
she was. Oh no, it wasn't here the other day. It was yesterday while we were waiting.
Do we know what day or when she was and wasn't?
I don't remember. When we were waiting to be able to go into the chapel yesterday, and she was talking about how people, they comment all of those posts like, "Oh, this is my dog's name, and this is when I got my dog," and blah 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 blah. She's like, they're sharing their passwords.
Yeah.
That's so true. So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disclosing what my password is, but I reckon
Yeah.
some of those posts that pop up, I'm like, if I put any details in there, they.
Oh
That's
yeah,
straight away.
definitely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. So, well, look, I reckon that sort of covers a little bit of that. I mean, you could talk forever on it, and some of the other episodes we have done have been a little bit more detailed with certain stories, and on our TikTok, we do normally Sundays with Brember at 8:30, and that's Melbourne, Australian time. And obviously on our TikToks, all our videos and things like that, I'd love you to put down on there of what topics you might want us to talk about. I mean, we can talk anyways. It's not going to stop.
I think our next podcast should be like a full
Pick
episode.
on any episode.
That's like nasty.
That's every day.
Yep.
Should be about like our Brembanese glossary. Like
Oh, the words.
let's
Yeah.
I feel like there's an hour's worth of podcast
Yeah,
right
I
there.
reckon.
I think
I
all
reckon.
the bizarre
But
stuff that I
Yeah.
nearly let a bomb go then. Sugar, the bizarre stuff that Chris Brember has said.
yeah.
Yes.
So now it's all turned back to me, and everyone's picking on me now, and I'm going to go into the corner, and I'm going to have a bit of a cry, and yeah.
It's a nice change considering it's usually me being picked
Yeah.
on.
I wonder what the sound effect would be for like Annie dropping her bottom lip. You know, that little
Oh,
lip.
I'll find one. A quiver somewhere like. I'll find
It
one.
needs
Don't
to
you
sound
worry about
sadder
that.
than that. That's a
Yeah,
scared
I
one.
know. It's just like you into the zombie, which I can't find on here at the moment. There we go. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hope you've enjoyed that one. And until we come back and do this again, enjoy. And we'll chat later on. Bye for now.
Toodaloo.
Ciao.
Wait, you need to go to the toilet? What?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.